Hello guys and welcome to my first video on how to create an op mode. So before we get started, I just want to say that I'm expecting you to have already read to the documentation up to this point and have downloaded Android Studio. And if you have done that, then you're ready to go. So first you should go to the FTC GitHub, just search up FTC GitHub and then click the first link and it should direct you to this page. You should press code, then copy the URL. And if you downloaded Android Studio, just open that up. You should see the screen and just press clone repository and paste the link. Now just wait for that to finish. Cool. Once that's finished loading, just open up team code, then Java, and then look at this package called org first inspires ftc.teamcode. And then what you want to do is create a new Java class. This is where the code to our op mode is going to be. Let's just call this class op mode. To start, we first have to declare that this code is going to be a teleop and not an autonomous. So to do that, we create an annotation. It's called teleop, and this will let the program know to appear in the driver's hub when you press teleops. And then we also want to extend linear op mode because this is the class where we get all our variables and methods to actually run our teleop with. So it's going to ask you to implement a new method. It's going to be called run op mode, and this is basically the nitty gritty of where our code is going to be, besides creating variables and stuff like that. Before we actually start creating the functions of the robot, we have to understand the two phases of the teleop. First, there's initialization, and then it's actually running. So we want the robot to run when it's actually running and not during the initialization phase, where it's registering all the variables in our class. So to do that, we just call the wait for start method, and then anything after this will run after it starts in the driver's hub. Cool. So we can say while op mode is active, then do a bunch of stuff. Now we're ready to actually code the functions of the robot. So let's start with the wheels. For most robots, or at least my robot, we have four wheels. We have the front left wheel, the front right wheel, the back left wheel, and the back right wheel. And let's just call those variables. So wheels they run on motors and not servos. So we call it DC motor, which is the class for it. And then I'm just gonna abbreviate this front right wheel, front left wheel, back left wheel, and then back right wheel. And then we call the variables, but we actually need to start initializing them. So before we press start, we will begin the initialization phase, and that's where we write front right wheel equals hardware map dot get dc motor dot class, and the configuration name in your driver's hub. So I'm just gonna break this piece of code down. Hardware map.get basically goes into your your configuration and finds a device name called front white wheel, um, and its class is DC motor. This should all be in your configuration. Um, your device name does not necessarily have to be the name of your variable, but for our purposes, I'm just gonna do it the same since it's easier. But for example, yours could be like front right wheel, but it's just whatever you put in your configuration. And now just do the same for all four. Cool. Now you have an up mode that has a few variables, a few robot components, and actually goes into the configuration and configures them in your code. And while it doesn't do anything right now, it's the base of what you're actually gonna code in the future. So I'm gonna discuss that in the next video, but that's gonna be it for our first tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.